Welcome to Spiritually Raw. We expose and explore controversial truths, myths, and theories surrounding the spirit world. Guests include QAnon experts, investigators, debunkers, and skeptics of the supernatural, unexplained, and flat-out unimaginable. Content discussed on this show is not necessarily the opinion of the cast of Spiritually Raw, and topics quite often are for mature audiences only. This show is not intended to replace any medical, financial, or legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello, everybody. How are you? And welcome to Spiritually Raw. We hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. And thank you so much for sharing your energy with us today so we can all work together to get to the other side of what's going on here. So, hey, I do want to remind you, if you're new to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. And also, you'll be hearing this a little bit because we've just started a new collective super channel, which is going to be in the description below. Great guests like what you're seeing here. Victoria Reynolds is going to be on that. It's going to be a group of us together that are going to be putting amazing content really geared towards the spiritual mindset and that energetic shift that's going on there. So you're really going to love the content on there, and most certainly even more so the creators that are putting the content up there. So
and also, just so you kind of get a vibe for what the new collective super channel is going to be about, the broadcasters that are on the show are not going to be going down the political road. So if you're looking for something where it's just going to be all about the spiritual and raising the vibration and shifting your energy and your consciousness, then definitely check out the collective super channel. And the links will be in the descriptions below.
You're going to love it because we most certainly do on this end. So anyway, listen, let me tell you a little bit about our guest, Victoria, here. And I've got some notes.
Wow. While you're getting your notes up, we've known Victoria for at least what we just figured out.
10 years.
10 years. We interviewed Victoria 10 years ago. So we've known her for quite a while. But she's had quite some transitions in her life, and we're super excited. I'm just as excited as you all because I can't wait to hear about what you've been doing for the past 10 years.
This is her second coming out, right?
Yeah.
So listen, real quick before Victoria.
Can you read that?
Yeah, I can.
Do you want me to put my glasses on?
Put your glasses on, yeah.
Hold on.
You're always better at this.
All right, Victoria Reynolds. She's a spiritual luminary. We all know that. And a conscious channel. She works with the Galactic Council of Light, and she also receives messages directly from God on humanity's behalf. The topic of conversation, the plan. We've entered the new Earth ascension timeline. Oh, this is what we're talking about. Okay, hold on. So guess what our topic is today? She wants to talk about the plan. Awesome, Victoria.
And join us in welcoming Victoria to the show. How are you, Victoria?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me to be here. It has been a long time. And
yes, too long.
Yeah, I've come back out of the spiritual closet. I put myself away for a few years dealing with some other things I needed to take care of, but I've come back out again in time for us to collectively up-level.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that for a second if we can before we dive deep into it. So when you talk, because a lot of people do refer to, I've come out of the spiritual, or people are referring to, I'm coming out of the spiritual closet, or I went back into it. So can you help us paint a picture, Victoria, from that perspective? So when you go back into the closet, is it something that maybe not so much you or just people when they're saying that, is it something that you're kind of running from at that point, or kind of hiding back in, or not ready to embrace, or what is that? What's the reference to that?
Well, for me, it was, which is funny because I talk about transcending fear, but I had a little bit of fear about being accepted at this next level. So as an author and as a coach, I didn't have problems with that. but it was coming out on this next level as a spiritual luminary and as an embodied higher being which there are quite a few of us here on the planet. It's not something that's generally accepted. And so that's been my fear. I went back in the closet because I was afraid of not being accepted for this higher purpose that I'm being brought in for. And
was it
in my own home? So I kept it for a while.
Is it energetically something that happened now that's changed that was able to do? Is it this vibrational shift that everybody's been talking about? Was that the opening there that allowed you to come back out?
Part of it. 2020 was a huge transformation, I think, for most people on the planet. It really shifted a lot of us into this next level of who we're here to be. In my particular case, it also resulted in divorcing my husband.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it needed to be done. That was a part of me that was holding me back, and I'd known that I had outgrown him and that I needed to let him go. But there was a part of me that wasn't ready to. And then one day it was like the bolt of lightning said, got to do it this week.
Wow.
Wow. And it's just like that, huh? How you holding up? All right.
It was the week of 8/8, the Lionsgate. And I just kept hearing from Spirit, it has to be done before 8/8, has to be done before 8/8. And so I just did.
Okay.
And that was it. We just got up and left.
And then, did you feel a shift in your consciousness then, or what were you ready and prepared for it? And then after it happened, were you kind of like, all right, this is going to be okay?
Yeah. So what had happened before that is a Spirit made it very clear to me that he is not my source and supply, that Spirit is, and that I would be taken care of regardless of what happened. I've been financially, he'd been the primary breadwinner, if you will, for about the last 10 years since the 2008 economic crash. And after that happened, I spent most of my time being a mom. And Spirit said, look, just go. You need to go and just trust that you're taken care of. So when
that's a big leap.
A tremendous sense of freedom that I can finally be my whole self, because I had never been my whole self around him.
Do you feel at this point, do you feel liberated at this point? I mean, how are you holding up?
Completely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I'm literally a completely different woman.
No.
So you seriously took a major leap of faith, and you feel really great about it. That's incredible. Good for you,
Victoria. If you don't mind,
excellent.
if you don't mind sharing, since we've already kind of just entered into that rabbit hole a bit with you, is that because I know a lot of people are really just having some struggles and just working through, and they're at very much crossroads, defining moments on there. How is the whole overall situation with the kids and everything when you made that move? You know, with that, I mean, during this, because everything going energetically hectic, and personally, how's that all working out?
That is interesting as well. So my husband left. My daughter had a really hard time with it, and she was really angry with him because one of the reasons I needed to let him go is because he's an alcoholic, and I never knew if I was the good guy or the mean guy, which is why I never finished coming out of the closet, because I didn't know which response I was going to get. And I finally accepted that I was his enabler, and I needed to stop doing that. And in order for me to grow, I needed to let him go. And so the kids were fine with that. They were fine. They were living with me, seeing their dad once in a while. And then, don't want to get into the political thing, but they found out that I was not on the side they wanted me to be on. So are now living with their dad.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So you're actually going, so that there is, you hear about people talking about that a lot. And,
How it literally split their family.
Literally splitting up the family.
It completely split my family up.
Yeah.
And it was really, really painful. I don't know. And people who have kids, there's like mommy withdrawal and all of that. And what Spirit has made very clear to me is that they also needed to go so that I can do the work I'm here to do. And as painful as that experience has been, that needed to happen in order for me to step into this next level of who I'm here to be.
Does your spirit, Victoria, give an indication of so you can be who you're supposed to be when you circle back, or at what point do you circle back to them with them again?
Well, I reach out to them all the time. I told my daughter I'm not about to let her forget who she is, because she told me when she was little that she was here to be a light. Dark cave. She's actually my spiritual catalyst. I had no spiritual inclinations at all until she was young and started telling me things I didn't even know were possible. she could bilocate. She said one night, she said she leaves her body and plays with her angel friends. I thought those were all religious terms, and I wanted nothing to do with any of that. But she woke me up to completely different possibilities that I didn't even know were possible. She's actually a very spiritual being. Her entire bedroom is like spiritual stuff all over the place.
That's cute.
Right now she's angry and in denial of all of it. So
she's angry in denial of the divorce.
Yeah, what's happening
of the divorce.
So, well, listen, we wish you a lot of love on your journey on that one, for real. Much love to you, really. So let's get into, and thank you for sharing that part. Let's get into talking about now your gifts, about like what you've come out now to. What are you getting? So can you help us understand now, Victoria, what have you tapped into now that you can share with us, that's going to help really just make a difference for, all of us really trying to figure out which direction to go and what to do here?
Well, what I've been told is that we need to stop focusing on the past and stop focusing on the political environment. There are a lot of people who are doing that. That is not my purpose. I see what's happening there. I actually saw Mr. T in 2012 before he even ran for office. I was told that he would be someone who would expose the darkness and be part of the exposing all of the corruption on the planet. So, but I didn't recognize him until after the 2016 election. So I've been watching that and not allowing myself to really get engulfed in it, because I'm not one of the tunnel diggers and I'm not one of the truthers in that particular sense. Although I see it and I know that it's there, my role is to help humanity heal it and move forward.
What do you say to people that are hanging on to the idea, possibility, who knows, I'm just saying, or not, it could happen, could not happen. What do you say to those who are holding on to the idea that there's a possibility in their minds that Trump may come back in some format, president, non-president, or the president we have now is a fake president? How do you help people through that right now?
Well, the message that came in this morning from the Guardians is that he isn't finished yet.
That's good to know.
Yeah, he's not finished yet. But what I've been told, and I've known this for a couple of months, is that the military is in control and he cannot come out and be seen and heard until they finish doing their work. So,
okay.
Okay,
well, that's good.
That is good.
However long that takes, he won't come back out until the military.
And I think we've talked about this, Victoria, on the different shows, and I think the result seems pretty tight for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people do seem to feel like the results there. I think what people are getting, we talked about this in an earlier show, is that people are getting caught up so much on the date. You know what I mean? And the when and things like that. And I think if we can, we were talking about helping people break that pattern, I think would be such a healthy thing to not so much focus on this date or that date.
Correct.
Because if the result's going to happen by the grace of whatever, the result's going to be there, right? And so we live it that way. So now, when you see it like that, and I'd like to ask you this: do you see what other people are talking about, that hey, we will actually have some form of a Trump presidency again?
Sort of. What I'm seeing is that it's not going to be the same structure. All of our systems are being restructured, all of them. And that old pyramid model is going to go by the wayside. And I was reminded again this morning, I had a message that came in maybe 2013, I want to say, where the Guardians were telling me that all of our systems were going to collapse. It would be the end of isms and opposites. And and I got the message this morning, reminded me that that's actually starting to happen now.
So what exactly was the message that you had this morning?
Oh, I'd have to go get my notebook. But it was along the lines of, a lot of it was for me personally, because I was asking about my kids, which is, I want to make sure that they're going to come back around. And they said, yes, that the jabbies don't affect these kids. Because
good.
So these high vibration kids, it won't even affect.
That's very, very good.
Oh, I just connected here that she's using friendly terms. She's in the safe words.
Right.
Okay, cool.
So, what are you doing in your practice right now to help people heal?
everything that I'm doing right now, and I've been told very clearly that we need to focus on the vision. We need to take our mind off of what we think is real and what we expect to be happening and laser focus on the world we want to create.
Mm-hmm.
Because all that news and all that stuff that's being fed into our awareness is being fed to us to keep us from creating the vision that we want.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to stop buying into these dystopian stories that we're being fed and focus everything we've got on the world we want to create. Mm-hmm. So on December 21st, the planet actually entered the age of Aquarius, locked and loaded. It's no longer the dawning of the age. We are in it. This is the opportunity for heaven on earth. And because we intercreate with the planet herself, we are the ones who create the reality. So even though now she's now in that space for peace on earth to happen, we're the ones that create it. So we have to focus, all of us, on the world we want to create. If that's being part of a system, if you want to get involved in politics, if you want to get in filmmaking, whatever it is that's calling to you, laser focus on what we want that to look like, and allow the officials, if you will, to just do their job and trust that the guardians, which is funny, I find it interesting that the Space Force is called the Guardians, because that's what I call my team upstairs too.
You call your team. I was going to ask you about the Guardians. That's a group, I would imagine, yeah, of your guides?
The Guardians. So they're the Guardians of Light. The Guardians of Light are a smaller group of the Galactic Federation of Light. They're like representatives from each one of the members of the Federation.
Okay, hold that thought right there. The Guardians of Light are individual entities from the larger spectrum of the Federation of Light?
Correct. Yeah, and their specific purpose is to protect planet Earth.
And what are they? Are they aliens? Are they extraterrestrial?
All kind of aliens.
Well, no. That's why. Obviously, they're all aliens. But are they considered like angels or spirit guides?
So they are a group of, most of them are ascended masters who
ascended masters.
So they have volunteered to protect the planet and to help us through our ascension process.
And these are the Guardians. So so there's the Galactic Federation that a lot of people are aware of, and now you have the Guardians, which is like would you equate them to like next level, high level Galactic Federation? Like if we were to just quantify it in earthly ways of looking at it.
In earthly ways, yeah. They don't do the whole level thing is egoic. It's a human ego thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They don't really do that. But they are a team that is dedicated specifically to protecting planet Earth.
And who would we know, for example, would be in this group at the Ascended Masters? Would it be Buddha, Jesus? Is it?
The ones that I specifically work with are, I actually have to look at the table because they gather in what's called the council chamber. So I work with this particular council in the council chamber. So I'm in a council chamber, and then they have all these viewing platforms, viewing windows around that include other Ascended Masters and Guardians.
Uh-huh.
The team that I work with when we meet in the council chamber is Metatron.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay.
Yeah. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. Who else is there? Archangel Michael, sometimes, not always. And the other person who switches out sometimes is Ezekiel. Ezekiel works very closely with me right now. He's actually assisting to remove some bad entities from the planet.
And how do you get into the Council of Chamber?
I'm invited. I'm actually one of them.
So let me get there for a second.
Yeah.
Number one, that's one hell of an advisory board.
Yeah.
Yeshua and Mary Magdalene are there as well.
All right. Well, so I want to really tag on to that, what you were just saying there. So how does Victoria so you got invited. So what was the
invite like?
Yeah, like was it? Yeah, what was the invite like?
Do you have what was it? Is it an invitation you got in the mail? An email?
Like a Harry Potter kind of thing?
My higher self is actually one of them.
I'm sorry, what was that, Victoria?
My higher self is one of them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm clear. What you're saying is you're an earthly ascended master.
Correct.
You're an ascended master that's been reincarnated on the earth plane. And
Correct.
do you know who or which ascended master you are an incarnation of?
I do.
Who is it?
Her name is Victoria, Elohim of Freedom.
Neat. That's
Very,
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
That is really
And
cool.
how did you find that out? And do you look alike?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've known this for about 10 years. I started when I first had my channeling activated. It was a gift I had when I was a child, but I forgot about because I was told by my religion to be terrified of my own gifts. So I hid all of my spiritual gifts and I had them reactivated about 10 years ago. And I started communicating with this entity named Victoria. And I would sit on my couch and I would write, and this entity named Victoria would come in. My name, I'm going to be completely transparent here. My name at the time was Margaret. And this entity named Victoria kept coming in, and she would say, I am you, I am you, I am you, and you are one. I'd be like, yeah, I know. In the mind of the universe, we're all one. And she kept saying, no, we are one. And I had a conversation with a spiritual teacher friend of mine, and she was talking about someone else who said, oh, they channel their higher self, only they don't use their name. And I realized that that was actually me I was communicating with.
You were well, so, with Victoria. What?
Then I took on the name Victoria.
What era did she live in?
Oh, she's an ancient being.
Okay, got
it.
Yeah,
the Elohim are actually creators of worlds.
Okay.
And as a creator of, well, one of the creators of this planet, I was here to create peace. I'm one of the guardians of freedom, actually. So the reason I'm here is to help set humanity free from the fear-based reality we've been living in.
When you have this conversation with people, right, and you start to talk to them about this, I mean, what's their, obviously likes surrounds like, so, we're talking about it, they're very different, but just generally when you bring it up to people, what's been, since you've come out, if you would, what's been the feedback from people, and what's been, have you been getting any pushback at all?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
You guys are officially my first.
Look at the comment section. Oh, God. Okay. All right.
You know
comment sections are below, right?
You know what's interesting,
but
Victoria?
You know what's courage, though, Victoria?
No, it's awesome. 10 years ago, if we had had this conversation, I would have been with you the whole time, like on an interview, because I would have been so intrigued. But I would have left the interview, and Jay and I would have looked at each other and been like, and now I'm like, I totally get it. It's like, it makes perfect sense now.
It appears to be 10 years later, and this is really true. It appears so possible, Victoria.
Yeah, it does.
Everything you're saying, actually, I would say this, go one step further. It appears so real.
Exactly.
That does what you're experiencing right now does exist there. So
like it fits perfect.
Yeah, it's interesting how this is thing there. So when you now start to move on at this phase, what do you feel like? And I want to use destination because that implies sometimes there's a point and it's ended there. But what is a journey now for you that that you have to embark upon now that you've come out?
I've been told that I have a new healing gift that I haven't started using yet.
Which is what?
It is to heal the broken hearts of humanity.
And how do you do that?
And heal Gaia's heart. Gaia's heart is actually broken right now.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. Because her children abandoned her. And as a mom who has 2 kids that just abandoned me, I totally get it. Yeah.
And this healing that you're doing, is it a process? Is it a tool? Is it something you say? Is it something you do?
It's a new form of energy that I'm presently embodying.
Okay, so this new form of energy, is it energy healing that you're providing by your hands, your mind, an instrument,
body, like spirit kind of?
How does it work? Like take us through this healing.
It's an energy that I download and I bring it into my heart, and then I press it. I push it forward. It doesn't have to be in person because energy is energy. I basically send it out as waves of this infinite compassion from the mother aspect of source, and I've been asked to embody it.
So are you doing this, and I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you doing this on a global scale, or are you doing this on an individual
You mean like
basis.
groups or one-on-one? Like
no,
hey,
I mean, do you wake up in the morning and you're sending out this global energy via your heart chakra or however you're sending it out? Or are you working on a one-to-one basis with people?
Both.
both.
Yeah. But it is my mission to send it out across the planet. Yeah.
Do you think, Victoria, that we make the mistake, a lot of us thinking that we don't have that connection to the goddesses, if you would, that we are gods, and that we forget about the fact maybe that we are gods and goddesses incarnate?
Correct.
Do you think that is from
although,
what you?
although not every human being, you have to understand that there are many beings on this planet. Some are human and some are not. But what's happened is that the human DNA has been manipulated over the millennia, that human beings have lost their direct connection to source. That's why so many people think they have to go through religion to get to God, or they have to go through a teacher to get to God, or they have to go through a master to get to God, not understanding that what we call God is love itself. God is love, actually really is. And it's embodied in every single one of us. It's actually what we're made of.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, no, finish your statement. I didn't mean that. I thought you were done.
No, I was just saying, if people understand that it's actually inside of them, they don't actually have to go through anybody else to get it, because the only way to God is through themselves. That was a misinterpretation of what Jesus said.
Which I made a bold statement the other day, which just reinforces it even more. Somebody asked, well, what religion are we? And I made a joke. I said spiritually raw, even though I was joking, but I was serious. And then I took it one step further and I thought about it. I said, I'm the religion of me. Because if God lives within, then I must be a goddess in human form. So my religion is me. Now,
would that make me a god, darling?
What?
Would that make me a god, darling?
Yeah, well, obviously.
Nice.
So I want to ask you a question. What's that?
I said, if he's a god, that's without saying. Yeah.
Oh.
You know,
Well, hold on. I have a question for her. Okay, so you said that some people are human and some people are not. Totally, yes. Now, that being said, we all know that the majority of the population, of the politicians and most of Hollywood are non-human of some capacity.
Well, hold on a second. Is that how you see it?
And then I have a question after that. Does it also mean that our family members would also possibly not be human? We'd like to share a story. While it may sound fictional, it's very real and happening right now in front of our very eyes. It's called The Great Awakening. Our sisters and brothers that come on Spiritually Raw are doing everything to help expand global consciousness, and in many cases putting everything on the line to share their messages about what's happening around the world for the greater good of humanity, while exposing the truth of the deep state and the dark forces behind it all. We are living in the most unbelievable times. Some may even say biblical, scary for many and yet exhilarating for others. Together we are taking part in getting everyone acclimated to the Great Awakening process and the exciting new discoveries that lie ahead. The sad part is many of our amazing guests are being heavily censored, socially shamed, and outright banned on many platforms for exposing the truth and piercing the veil. By becoming a viewer, you bring your powerful energy towards this global movement of other truth seekers. If you're resonating with our show, please let us know by hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, turn on the notification, and leave some comments. Together, we will turn the universal key to global harmony and create a unified world. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Thanks, and God bless Patriots worldwide.